I, Nate the Great, was drying off from the rain. I was sitting under a blanket and reading a detective book. My dog Sludge was sniffing it. I was on page 33 when I heard a knock. I opened the door. Claude was there. I lost my best dinosaur, Claude said. He was always losing things. This is your biggest loss yet, I said. A dinosaur is huge. How could you lose it? My dinosaur is small, Claude said. It is a Stegosaurus on a stamp. Can you help me find it? It is hard to find something that small, I said. This will be a big case, but I will take it. Tell me, where was the Stegosaurus stamp the last time you saw it? It was on a table in my house, Claude said. I was showing all my dinosaur stamps to my friends. The Stegosaurus stamp was my favorite. Who are your friends? I asked. Annie, Pip, Rosamond, and you. But you weren't there, Claude added. Good thinking, I said. I, Nate the Great, will go to your house and look at your table. I wrote a note to my mother. Dear Mother, I am on a sticky case. When I find something big that is small, I will be back. Love, Nate the Great. Claude and I went to his house. He did not lose his way. He showed me his table. It had stamps all over it. Here are all of my stamps, Claude said, except for the Stegosaurus stamp. I, Nate the Great, saw a Tyrannosaurus stamp. I saw a Brontosaurus stamp. I saw an Ichthyosaurus stamp. I saw claws and jaws. The stamps were ugly. But that did not matter. I had a case to solve. I had a job to do. Where was the Stegosaurus stamp when it was on the table? I asked. Near the edge, Claude said. It must have fallen off, I said. I looked on the floor near the table. The Stegosaurus stamp was not there. I picked up a stamp and showed it to Sludge. We must look for a lost stamp, I said. Sometimes Sludge is not a great detective. He tried to lick the sticky side of the stamp. Look! Don't lick, I said. Sludge and I looked at, over, under, and around everything in Claude's house. Then we looked again. We did not find the Stegosaurus stamp. I, Nate the Great, turned to Claude. The Stegosaurus stamp is not in your house, I said. Tell me, when did you notice the stamp was missing? After everybody left, Claude said. Did everybody leave together? I asked. Yes, said Claude. Did everybody come together? I asked. No, said Claude. Annie and Rosamond came to tell me that Rosamond was going to have a yard sale. Then it started to rain. It rained for a long time. So Annie and Rosamond stayed and looked at my stamps. When the rain stopped, Pip came over. He looked at my stamps too. Then they all left together to go to Rosamond's yard sale. Then I, Nate the Great, must go to the yard sale too, I said. I must speak to everyone who was in the room with the Stegosaurus stamp. Sludge and I went to Rosamond's house. Rosamond was standing in her yard with her 4 cats under a sign. "Are you selling your cats?" I asked. "No," Rosamond said. "I am selling and swapping empty tuna fish cans, slippers, spare cat hairs, toothbrushes, pictures of milk, spoons, and all sorts of things." Sludge was sniffing. "Do you have a Stegosaurus stamp?" I asked. "No," Rosamond said, "but I saw one at Claude's house, near the edge of his table." "Thank you," I said. I started to leave. "Please, buy a cat hair from my yard sale," Rosamond called. "They are only a penny each." Nate the Great, did not want a cat hair, but I gave Rosamond a penny. "I will buy 1 cat hair," I said. "I will give you an extra one free," Rosamond said. "Do you want hairs from Big Hex, Little Hex, Plain Hex, or Super Hex?" "Surprise me," I said. Rosamond took a hair from a box that was marked Big Hex and a hair from a box that was marked Super Hex. She stuck the hairs to a piece of tape. "So you won't lose them," she said. Sometimes Rosamond has strange ideas. This was one of them. I saw Pip looking at some empty tuna fish cans. "Did you see a Stegosaurus stamp at the edge of Claude's table?" I asked. Pip doesn't say much. He shook his head up and down. "Do you know where it is now?" I asked. Pip shook his head sideways. "Thank you," I said. I saw Annie and her dog Fang. "I am looking for Claude's Stegosaurus stamp," I said. "What do you know about it?" "I know that the Stegosaurus is pretty," Annie said. "I know that it looks like Fang." Annie turned toward Fang. "Show us your Stegosaurus smile," she said. Fang opened his mouth. Nate the Great, knew it was time to go home. I said goodbye to Annie. Sludge and I walked home slowly. It was a good walk. There were raindrops on the tree leaves. We saw ourselves in puddles. We sniffed the clean air. We saw a rainbow. At home, I made some pancakes. I gave Sludge a bone. We ate and thought. Where was the Stegosaurus stamp? Nobody knew. But the stamp was gone. This was a sticky case. Nate the Great, was stuck. Then I thought perhaps there is something different about a Stegosaurus stamp. Perhaps I should think about the Stegosaurus instead of the stamp. Suddenly, Nate, felt great. I had pancakes in my stomach and a good idea in my head. "Wait here, Sludge," I said. "I have to go look for information." I went to the museum. I saw a Stegosaurus there. I had to look up and up and up. The Stegosaurus was big. He was bigger than Fang. His smile was uglier. But he could not move. He could not do anything. Nate the Great, was glad about that. I learned about the Stegosaurus. He was a giant lizard. He lived a long time ago. He had 2 brains. Nate the Great, wish that I had 2 brains and that one of them would solve this case. I walked home. The signs of rain were gone, except for some puddles. I thought hard. What did I know about the Stegosaurus stamp? I knew that Annie and Rosamond went to Claude's house and saw the stamp. Then it rained for a long time. I knew that after the rain stopped, Pip went to Claude's house and saw the stamp too. I knew the stamp had been at the edge of Claude's table. I knew it was not in Claude's house now. How did it get out and where was it? Seeing the big Stegosaurus had not helped the case. Perhaps I had been thinking wrong. Perhaps I had forgotten that there are two sides to every stamp. Perhaps I should think about the sticky side instead of the Stegosaurus side. Think sticky, I said. When I walked inside and saw Sludge, Sludge was licking his dog bowl. He had not been much help on this case. Or had he? I remembered when Sludge tried to lick the sticky side of a stamp. Sludge's wet tongue would have made the stamp very sticky. A very sticky stamp sticks! Suddenly, I knew that Sludge was a great detective. He knew that the sticky side of the stamp could be important. I, Nate the Great, knew that anything wet would make a stamp very sticky. I thought of wet things. I thought of drips and drops. I thought of rain. When Annie and Rosamond went to Claude's house, it was not raining. But when Pip went to Claude's house, it had been raining and stopped. Raindrops were on the trees. Puddles were on the sidewalk. I, Nate the Great, thought of puddles. I thought of Pip stepping in them. I got a step from my desk and put it on the floor. I went outside and stepped in a few puddles. Then I went back inside and stepped on the sticky side of the stamp. The stamp stuck to my shoe. The same thing must have happened to the Stegosaurus stamp and Pip's shoe at Claude's house. Sludge had given me the clue I needed. Now I knew that I had to see Pip's shoes. We went to Pip's house. I rang the bell. Pip opened the door. I looked down at his feet. He was wearing slippers. "Where are your shoes?" I asked. Pip looked down at his feet. He opened his mouth. Then he said, "My shoes were all wet from the rain. After I left Claude's house, I swapped them for a pair of dry slippers at Rosamond's yard sale. I took the slippers off the swap table and put my shoes there." "Thank you," I said. Sludge and I went back to Rosamond's yard sale. We went up to the swap table. "The sticky case is almost over," I said. But Pip's shoes were not there. Rosamond came over. "I hope you don't want to swap your cat hairs," she said. "I want Pip's shoes," I said. "Where are they?" "I just sold them to Annie for 10 cents. Rosamond said. "It was my big sale of the day." Sludge and I ran to Annie's house. She was outside with Fang. I saw 2 shoes. One was on the ground. The other was in Fang's mouth. "Are these Pip's shoes?" I asked. "They were," Annie said. "I bought them for Fang to chew." I, Nate the Great, saw the bottom of the shoe Fang was chewing. Something small, square, and dirty was stuck to it. At last, I had found the Stegosaurus stamp. But I, Nate the Great, knew that finding was not everything. Getting was important too. I thought fast. "Show me Fang's Stegosaurus smile," I said. "Smile, Fang," Annie said. Fang smiled. The shoe fell to the ground. I picked it up. I, Nate the Great, peeled off the stamp. The case was solved. We took the Stegosaurus stamp to Claude's house. The stamp was dirty, sticky, icky, and ugly, but Claude was happy to get it. Sludge and I walked home. We were careful not to step in any puddles.